Hey there everybody, Exelbirth here, and this is going to be a video showing how to get started a little bit with Thaumcraft 3. Now Thaumcraft 3 has changed quite a bit from Thaumcraft 2, and we'll be getting to that pretty much right away. We'll start with what that noise is. That noise, if I can find... there it is. That noise is coming from a wisp. Now, wisps are an enemy you will find when you have Thaumcraft 3 installed. When you attack them, they don't really like it. They'll start zapping you with lightning. However, when you kill them, if you can actually chase them down, it's kind of hard to take them out with a sword. You're going to have to rely on a bow, most likely. They explode into a very interesting looking firework. And they drop this thing called a wispy essence. Now, wispy essences are pretty useful when you are researching. Yep, researching is still a major part of Thaumcraft. But wispy essence... As I was saying, wispy essences hold a couple traits plus one extra depending on the color, from what I understand. In fact, if I go over to the Thaumcraft tab, there is pretty much a wispy essence color for every property you can research. And if you hold shift while looking at things, it will show you what properties these things have. The one I got has air on it. But let's get inside and move on to the next part. Ores. Now, Thaumcraft 2 you could find crystals. In Thaumcraft 3 you find ores instead. And there's 5 types for each element: magic, air, fire, water, earth. And dull is for if you have depleted the aura too much. It will turn these 5 types of ore into a dull ore, from what I understand. That is the magical energy receding from the ore to replenish the aura. And if the aura becomes full of energy, it will reverse the effect, turning dull ore into one of these. There's also cinnabar ore, which is a little bit different looking from the Thaumcraft 2 ore, and there's also amber ore. Now, I don't know what level of pick you need to harvest these things, but we can go ahead and find out. In fact, I don't even know if you're supposed to be using a pick to harvest this ore. Yep, looks like you could do. And stone is enough to break it. Dull ore, you will get a shard from it, but it has almost no properties. These shards, have the properties of various elements. And as you see, magic has a lot more magic to it than the others. And dull has almost no properties compared to the other ones. Still has the same amount of crystal property though. Cinnabar you cannot harvest with stone. Same with amber. Iron is enough to get it out, however. And of course you smelt cinnabar ore like usual to get quicksilver. Hopping back onto creative, we're going to get rid of these first. Nope, out of my inventory. We are going to start going into how to research. you're going to need a stick, a golden nugget, and actually should have kept one of those crystal shards. Oh, there it is. A Viz shard. You need a basic crafting bench. Arrange all the ingredients like this, and that will let you get a Wand of the Apprentice. Now, these wands will draw Viz directly from the aura. And as you see, it's filling up, and it holds a max of 50 Viz. Now, the next part... yeah, I was going to show you that one. The next part is to get thaumonomicon. In order to get a thaumonomicon, you need a bookshelf. Simply place your bookshelf on the ground, and right-click it with your wand, and there you go, your thaumonomicon. Now, thaumonomicon will tell you all the basic things you need to know. For instance, it will tell you all the basic research you get by default for making the thaumonomicon. Aspect of magic, the aura, flux, which is what taint has turned into, and infused ores, which I already showed you. It also tells you how to get a research table, scribing tools, which is what you need to make a research table, tables as well, which is also what you need to make a research table, but you also use tables to make an arcane work table. Glass files, that's what I needed to know earlier. The crucible, thaumonomicon, which, duh, and the Wand of the Apprentice. Oh, you could use any shard at the end there, not just Viz. Although I don't think you can use dull. Let's see. Oh, actually you can. My mistake. Well, we're going to go ahead and craft a table. Just craft one for now, because one's all we're going to need to start with. But basic crafting bench lets you make a table. Now you put your table down and click on it with your wand, and that will turn it into an arcane workstation. And it has a slot specifically for your wand. You need your wand here in order to use the arcane station. So it actually isn't that bad of an idea to have a couple wands, to be honest. Next, we're going to need this glass bottle. We'll actually grab a cauldron as well, for now. And an ink sac and a feather. Arrange them in your crafting table like so, and you get scribing tools. Now you place two more tables down, and right-click with your scribing tools on the two tables, it doesn't matter which one, and you will get a research table. Now the research table has 5 slots to put items in for research purposes. These 5 items will... here, let me use my wand. These 5 items will filter their attributes into here. If you have multiple items with the same attribute, it will increase that attribute in this slot here. And you put paper in this slot, and theories and discoveries will come out of this slot. And the hourglass is to research. There's also a little bar down here. Follow the wand, which affects how thoroughly you're researching an object. A cursory will have very low chance of yielding a result compared to a thorough, but you will have far less of a chance of using up the item you are researching. And thorough is just the opposite. Greater chance and greater chance of losing your item. Now let's go ahead and get a stack of paper. And we'll leave that there for now. We can also get rid of this table because I don't believe we're going to need it anymore. Although tables can be used as very nice decoration. Now, the crucible, you need to have an eternal source of flame below it. So a trip to the Nether is almost completely essential to actually do Thaumcraft 3. Just put the netherrack down, light it on fire, put your crucible, your cauldron over it, and right click on it with your wand. You now have a crucible. And in order to actually use the crucible, you're going to have to take a bucket of water and dump it in. Now, after a little while, the water is going to start to boil. There we go. I actually do love how it added that effect, how Asnor added the effect of bubbles. I think it's pretty neat. So, now that we have a research table and a cauldron, it is time to actually get into researching things. You have 5 basic things you can research right away. However, you cannot understand any of it. It's all a mystery to you. Now, you will have an advantage if you have played Thaumcraft 2 before, because you kind of know what goes into Niter and Elementum. Now, Niter is a source of, is an eternal flame. Elementum is kind of a fuel. So, taking that into consideration, flame. Flame emits light. So, torches. As you see, torches have the lux, light, brightness, and day attributes. If you research it, you'll get research notes. Now, you won't always get research notes if what you have in the research slots are not going to yield anything. But you're not going to have to worry about that until a little later on, because for the most part, everything you put in is going to give you something to start with. And as you see, a cursory research is not going to give you a very high chance of finding things. But when you do find something, you will get a thing called Obscurus. Now, this lets you know that what you are researching does give you something to the research notes, or one of the attributes of it. Yeah, one of the attributes of what you're researching is essential to discovering what your research notes are giving you. You also will get this little paper up here, which starts out encrypted at first, but after you get enough attributes figured out, it will reveal its information to you. Now, if I put this on a thorough research, I use up more torches, and as you see, I now have lux in the slot. Still no information on here, but my research notes have changed to let me know I am going to figure out what Niter is. Now, if I put this on thorough, it's only bumping up a little bit at a time, about 12 to 13% each time. But I'm not losing my torches anymore as much. And lux is now at 100%. This is not enough, unfortunately, to reveal the encryption on this thing. But I do have Niter 40% research now. So what else does Niter have attributed to it? Well, Niter is an eternal flame, so how about something that gives me fire? Now, I could put in flint and steel. That gives me fire. In fact, it has 4 fire attribute to it. However, you cannot stack that, so it's not the best thing you can do. Coal gives you fire, though, and so does charcoal. So how about if we put both of those in? Oops. Give me that charcoal. Now, that gives me 2 on Ignis, which is fire, heat, and burn. Now, I do not know why these have a glowing 1 on them. I think it might have something to do with aura enhancing this particular attribute, giving you an extra one. And if I put in charcoal, that actually doesn't increase it at all. So maybe I'm wrong on how the attributes work. Let's see what happens if I put in blaze rod. That has fire attribute of 6. That actually just completely overrules my coal, so I guess it's just best to go with the highest attribute you can. But if I research it, there we go, I now have Ignis in there, and the encryption has revealed itself. This glowing flame seems to be fueled by magic itself. The number of uses for an ever-burning flame seems endless, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to produce much heat. Although it could prove to be a steady source of light and energy. So there we go. We have 2 of the attributes down, but this one is still obscure. Now sometimes when you get enough attributes researched onto your research notes, other obscurest things will reveal themselves. Me, I am not getting that with Niter at all. But I did figure out that magic is definitely not this one, because it has darked itself out. Now, since I have played Thaumcraft 2 before, I do know that redstone is an ingredient to Niter. And there we have it revealed. Potentia is the last one that we needed. And with all 3 researched at 100%, we take out the discovery now, and it actually shows up like a map does, and you can read it whenever you want. And you right-click on it, and it will unlock the knowledge in your thaumonomicon. And if I click on this now, it will tell me I have to craft it in the crucible, and that in order to craft it I need 4 Ignis, 6 Lux, and 4 Potentia. Well, redstone gives me 2 Potentia, so why don't we drop 2 of those into there. Now Lux, torches give you that. In fact, they give you 1 each, so 6 is going to be what you need. I do like how some of the bubbles start rising after you throw things in and it changes colors. Just slightly. Now I still need Ignis. Flint and Steel actually has all the Ignis that I need. It does, however, have a bunch of other things on it. You want to do your best to avoid getting excess materials into your crucible when you're creating things. Blaze gives me 6, but I only needed, how much was it again? 4. So Blaze might not actually be the best. In fact, coal would have been the most ideal thing for me to choose, to be honest. However, I can also use blaze powder. That only requires 2, and it'll only give me a little bit excess of the magic one, whatever it was called. Now, once you have all your ingredients into your crucible, simply right-click on your crucible, and the item pops out. And has a nice little glowing effect on it. There you have it. We now have Niter. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem that you can place this down like a torch anymore, which is a little bit sad, but hey, you have to take into consideration that this is now multiplayer. And I'll just get rid of that for now. Next, we're going to want to get Elementum. Now, Elementum is a source of energy, or used to be a source of energy I don't know if you can use it as fuel anymore. But how about we try researching coal? And we're just going to go ahead and do thorough. Now we already have one thing that's obscure. And we just found out Ignis is also involved. Now since Saxum is not here and there's two options here coming from coal, I'm guessing the other one is Obscurus. And we are researching Elementum now. Oh, and here we go. I managed to figure out the other thing simply by researching these two to their max. Fractus. Now, fractus comes from things, well, that make things fracture. So, things like a pickaxe. There goes my phone again. Or cobblestone. That gives you 1 fractus. There's also gunpowder, which gives you 4 fractus. In fact, that's probably the best one you can take to start with. And there we go, Elementum is now discovered. And the substance throbs with fiery energy, and it is more than eager to release that energy at the slightest bump. It may be unstable, but it would probably make a good source of fuel, so maybe you can throw it in a furnace and actually use it as a substitute for charcoal. In fact, let's go ahead and figure out how to make Elementum. Of course, you're going to need the crucible again, 3 fractus, 6 ignis, and 6 potentia. Now, as I said, coal actually turned out to be great for getting ignis and potentia. So 3 coal is all we need. And 3 cobblestone, because that has fractus on it. And with a wave of the wand, Elementum. Now, one thing I did find out about Elementum when I was messing around with this before, just seeing how everything worked, is that you can throw it. In fact, it seems to have completely replaced Arcane Singularity. As soon as it hits the ground, it explodes. So it makes a pretty nice throwing weapon that also blows up the area around you. In fact, let's go ahead and pay a visit to this innocent group of sheep, cows, and chicken. And a skeleton. It's pretty interesting. Alright. Now, I do believe, yes, this thing also gained an extra attribute, magic. Not really sure why it gains extra ones, but it does help eventually. In fact, one thing I discovered, there is hidden mysteries. So why don't we go ahead and research some Elementum? Because Elementum explodes, but is an unstable explosion. Oops, that's not the research bench. As you can see, Elementum led to a research note right away with Ignis and Fractus. In fact, what we are researching is a basic everyday item in normal Minecraft, Gunpowder. We can turn items with the attributes of Fractus and Ignis into Gunpowder if we're using permutatio. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't really know. Now, let's see. Permutatio. Exchange, change, and barter. Well, oops. One thing that comes to mind right away is emeralds. And yes, those do let you give you the permutatio thing. Because, come on, it's bartering. However, there's other things that also will give you permutatio. Permutatio also governs change, and seeds change into other things. But not only do seeds change into other things, but eggs do as well. And eggs give you the same amount of permutatio as emeralds. So eggs are going to be the best choice whenever you're looking up permutatio when you're researching anything with permutatio. And there we go. Discovery of gunpowder. Since Elementum has such explosive properties, maybe you can harness some of what you have learned to create something more mundane, but just as explosive. And the recipe for it even shows up in your research thing. As you saw, there was nothing here before, but now there is. And all you need to do is drop something in that gives you 6 Fractus and 6 Ignis. So, really, if you wanted to... Here, let's throw this discovery in here. If you wanted to, you could take... Actually, this gives me 6 Ignis. You could take a single blaze rod and 6 cobblestone, toss it in your crucible, and gunpowder. Anyway, I'm going to check the record time quick because I don't want to make this too long of an episode. Alright, we're at 27 minutes. That's not too bad, really. Now there's a couple more things that I can discover. One involves golden nuggets. So why don't we just go ahead and get some golden nuggets and start researching them. Oops, that's the thaumonomicon. Don't want to put that in there. Although thaumonomicon does give you pretty decent research in quite a few things. Anyway, metal. That's the only attribute a golden nugget has. But it's enough to start learning something new. Theory is still unknown. In fact, I should be using something that has a lot more metal attribute to it. But, there we go, basic transmutation. By studying the rudiments of alchemy and the properties of metals, you think you might have stumbled upon a way to transform base metals into gold. Yes. Basic Philosopher's Stone dream of turning lead to gold. So, let metals into gold. Well, gold is valuable, so let's start researching that as well. But we also are turning things from one thing into another. So, permutatio most likely is going to be one of these things. Extra egg just appearing from nowhere. Alright, so gold's valuable. And eggs change things. Well, that gives me permutatio. And there comes the Charis. And that's all we needed to know. We now know how to turn metal into gold. And with that, we've completed basic alchemy. Now there is another step to this transmutation. If we were to put in iron ingots and eggs, we're starting to learn something new. And it is turning gold into metal. Transform any and all metals into iron, actually. And with that, we have unlocked yet another secret discovery. And that is simply putting metal into a crucible and turning it into iron ingot iron nuggets, not ingots. Now, what good is that really? Well, since gold does have fairly limited uses, one could, for example, it's about time that guy died. One could, for example, since gold nuggets have only one metal on them, toss a whole bunch in. Now you want to do this in twos, no less. Turn gold nuggets into iron nuggets. And I got 14 iron nuggets back because the recipe gives you 2 per. They do have the same value, really. And iron nuggets you can craft into a regular ingot, just like you can with a golden ingot. However, you do lose a single bit of metal property from that. Which is fair, I guess. If you really want to get more metal properties from your iron ingots, just simply toss it in your crafting bench and turn it into nuggets. I think you can do that anyway. Let me get one out. Yes, you can. Well, I think that's going to do it for this particular episode. Next time, we're going to start researching to get this, to get basic artificing. I know what it's called already. To do that, we're going to need to figure out how to get thaumium, this weird cloth, and this semi-new item. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and hope you guys are able to learn from this. And most importantly, I hope this is a very good guide for those looking to get into Thaumcraft 3. Until next time, take care.